that was like a one night stand thing that happened between
cause for failure to pay child support. You are ordered to pay $248 a month in child support. As of today's date, you have an arrearage in excess of $5,337.64. So, Mr. Lee, do you understand that in the state of Michigan, you can be charged with a felony and face a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison?
I do now that you told me that.
Okay, so sir, the last income withholding we had was well over a year ago in the amount of $69.31. Now, Mr. Lee, this is your first contempt of court, so the maximum penalty on this could be up to 45 days in jail. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I do now.
Okay, and on a second offense, it could be up to 90 days in jail. So, Mr. Lee, you do have a right to have an attorney represent you at this and all subsequent hearings. If you can't afford to hire an attorney, we can appoint you one at public expense. Are you going to hire an attorney? Would you like to have an attorney appointed, or would you like to continue without an attorney?
I mean, I think I'm all right. I should be fine. I've been off for like probably about a year and a half trying to get fixed with my stomach and issues at U of M. So, I mean, there's nothing that I can really I don't think I need an attorney, no.
Okay, so do you have some medical documentation of the issues?
Yeah, I have tons.
Okay.
All the way back from.
Hold on, Mr. Lee, hold on. Okay. Hold on. So, does it make you unable to work?
Back when I first got injured, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Did you provide that information to your friend, the court worker?
No, see, I haven't got anything in the mail or anything for quite some time.
Mr. Lee, you know you have to pay child support, right?
Yeah, last I knew.
And then, Mr. Lee, just answer my questions. So you knew you had to pay child support, and you know there's an order out there, and then you didn't pay it for a year. And don't you think at some point, if you were ill, you have to contact the court and let them know why you're not paying?
Yeah,
Melina. It's not like we go away.
Yeah, I understand. Melina had contacted me, and it was to my understanding that her now was going to want me to sign over on the kid because that was like a one night stand thing that happened between.
Sir, Mr. Lee, hold on a second. So there's a whole lot of things going on in that conversation. So there are certain things you have to do to qualify to terminate your parental rights and to allow for, is she married?
I think so. I'm pretty sure she's married to him now.
Yeah, and for him to adopt a minor child, it's a court proceeding. It has to go through the probate court. And then that doesn't necessarily mean that child support's forgiven unless they are willing to do that. So you haven't received paperwork from the probate court, have you?
No, I haven't got any paperwork besides when it was sent to my grandmother's address, and then that's when I got this paperwork, and it's the first time I've got paperwork and since I've talked to Melina, which
he needs to change his address.
Year.
Mr. Lee,
yeah.
Now I'm going to guess you have not changed your address, and I don't want your address on the record right now, but do you still live on Jordan Street?
No, I don't live on Jordan Street.
Okay, so Mr. Lee, hold on. So you have an obligation to change your address every single time you move, and if you haven't changed your address and the mail goes to the address that you provided us, that's valid service. So if you move and you don't get mail from us, that's not our fault, that's your fault.
When you say that the address, that's not to sound dumb, but I would change my address each time at the post office for my mail.
All right, I don't work for the U.S. Post Office. I work for Lenawee County in the state of Michigan. So if you change your address at the post office, it doesn't change it in our records. And they only forward mail for a period of time. So it sounds like our friend the court paperwork just kept going to your old address.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what was happening. I
Yeah,
thought one
so,
for all of that. That's on me.
yeah. So, Mr. Lee, as I said, you have an arrearage in excess of $5,337. Are you now employed?
I go Wednesday to my manpower to do my drug test and start a new job because just of recently, like, I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks now since my last appointment. I'm cleared and fine to work and I'm okay and healed. So then I was going to go right back to work, which that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so, sir, that's good. All right, so what I'm gonna do, so you'll know Wednesday whether or not you got the job at Manpower?
Yeah, I
Or you've
mean, I
been
have
working, or you just starting working with Manpower?
no, I've worked through manpower for the past like 7 to 8 years. I always was working all the way up until about 1.5 years, 2 years ago when I got hurt at work, overlifting and pulling muscles in my stomach. So then I was off and wasn't able to lift anything for the whole time, and finally just now getting healed and fine to work.
Okay. Okay,
Or
so
else-
I,
Off, there wouldn't be anything.
okay, so, Mr. Lee, I am going to set this over for 2 weeks. For you to provide verification of employment.
Okay.
So I'm gonna set it over to May 15 at 8 AM.
Okay.
So we'll see back on May 15 at 8 AM and you are to have employment.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop live stream so we get your new address on the record.
This gentleman doesn't start paying his child support because he thinks he's not gonna pay child support. You make sure you bring this case over here for contempt of court and we'll see what happens.